Hey folks, it's John with KGTropicals.com bringing you another product review today and also an update on the saltwater tank project. Really excited to finally get that thing back up and running again, or not back up, but running for the first time. But today we need to talk about the water for that tank, and how I handled that situation was with the Coralife reverse osmosis system. This is a really convenient system that you can hook up in your own house, and you can have an unlimited supply of RO water. We're also going to talk about the float valve system, the automatic shutoff system, also from Coralife. I installed both of these systems right into my house. It's right over there. You can't see it, but very efficient systems. I'm going to tell you everything that I know about this. We'll talk a little bit about the installation and all that kind of stuff, and I'll tell you my experiences with it. I'll tell you all the things I like about it, and I'll tell you a couple things that I don't like about it, but most of those things are actually my fault and not the fault of the system. I want to thank Coralife for sending this over to me to review for you. They were nice enough to do it, and it solved a huge problem for me. So everybody wins in this scenario. They get their product promoted on YouTube, I get my water situation handled, and you get to see this thing in action, and it'll maybe help you to make the decision of whether or not you want to buy this or not. So yeah, let's get into it. Let me tell you everything I know about it. Now, in the box for this system, I'm not really going to do an unboxing because it's all already installed, but you basically get everything that you need to hook this system up in your house. Now, there's a lot of things to think about with a system like this, like where you're going to put it and all of that. Basically, this system comes with everything you need to hook it up to an existing faucet. What a lot of people do with this system is install it like in their laundry room or something on like a laundry tub, and it'll hook right up to your faucet. No brainer. One of the pipes goes down the drain of your laundry tub, the other hooks up to the faucet, and the other one gives you your nice clean water. So it comes with everything that you need for that. And then also the automatic shutoff system comes with everything that you need to have it automatically shut off when whatever you're using to store your water is full. Some of the specs about this particular unit. Now, there's a few different sizes available. We're going to talk more about those in a minute, but this is the 4-stage unit here. It has the membrane filtration on the very top, which is the one that really pushes the water through a really tight membrane to get the finest particles out of it. But it also has the 3 canisters underneath that are all 3 different stages of filtration for this. Now, again, it's available in a 3-stage. It's also available in a 4-stage with a pump on it in case your home's water pressure is too low. So it's available in a few different setups, but all 3 of these are made to go in your home and hook up to your existing system. But as we'll talk about with mine, I did have to make some modifications to my home's system to get it in. Let's just go ahead and talk about that now. Now, this system is going to provide you with 50 gallons of reverse osmosis water every single day. The system is wall mountable, like you can see mine there, but you can also mount it under your sink if you wanted to, or on the back wall of your laundry room, or wherever it is that you decide to install it. The only thing that you're going to need to be sure of is that you have a water supply and then, of course, a drain where the dirty water goes. This system expels water from 2 different pipes. One is your clean reverse osmosis water. The other is your drain water, the nasty water that the system filtered out. So you need a drain, and then you're going to need somewhere to store the water. Most people that are storing a lot of RO water do exactly what I've done here. They use the Rubbermaid trash cans. They're very cheap. They're just easy to use, and you can even buy the little bases to put underneath them that have the wheels, and you can wheel them around your fish room. Very convenient, very easy. Now, I installed mine right onto the wall in my basement. It's an unfinished basement. I did have to put a board going across, but really no big deal. I take the clean water and I put it into the Rubbermaid trash can there. Like we talked about earlier, it's an absolute no-brainer. I drilled a small hole into the side of the Rubbermaid trash can for the float valve so that this thing automatically turns off when it's done filling. That way I don't forget, and it all of a sudden overflows into everything. Now, I was also very lucky because right behind where I installed this, there is a drain in the floor, which is actually for my air conditioning and heating system for the condensation drain there, but it works perfect for the dirty water to drain right down into there. My home's plumbing, I did not have a water supply right there for this system, so I actually installed a valve right there in the ceiling. And the first time I did it wrong, I put it on the hot water line, so I had to put in a second one. It just proves that you should call a professional. But I do have a lot of experience in this. It's just difficult to know which one is which, hot or cold. So I put one on both, and if I ever need hot water down here, I've got it. It was simple enough to do. It only cost me about $15 for the parts to install these valves down here. I would definitely recommend, if you're not experienced in this, I would hire a professional to do it. This is the kind of thing that can destroy a house if you don't know what you're doing. You don't want to destroy your house with a huge flood because you wanted to install a reverse osmosis system. So if you don't have experience in that, maybe think about a different location to install this system, or hiring a professional to put the plumbing in for you. So what does a reverse osmosis or RO system do, and how much is a system like this going to cost you? Well, an RO system removes water hardness, heavy metals, and all kinds of other toxins and teeny tiny microscopic things that we can't even see, takes them completely out of the water, giving you good, pure, clean, soft water that some fish require. Like discus love soft water, and of course, saltwater reef tanks love soft water. You might have a lot of things in your water source, even if you're on a well or from city water. You want to get all that stuff out of there, get the cleanest water possible. That is what one of these systems is for. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can get RO water without buying a system like this. The grocery store, they'll usually sell 1-gallon jugs. They'll sell distilled water, but it's pretty much the same thing. It's just a different filtering process. There's local pet stores. Some of them actually sell reverse osmosis water. You can bring your jugs there. They'll fill them up. It's usually cheap. They charge you by the gallon. No big deal. But what if you're in a situation like me? The closest store to me that sells RO water is about 2 hours away. So if I wanted to get my water from there, I would be gathering up all of these big jugs or 5-gallon buckets, putting them in the car, driving half a day because it's 2 hours there, 2 hours back, get these things filled up. I'm lugging these heavy buckets through the store and then through the house. It would be a huge hassle. So by the time you do all that, let's talk about how much something like that is going to cost. So I've got to gather up all of these buckets. Most of you are going to have those laying around. If you don't, you're going to probably have to pay about $5 a piece for each 5-gallon bucket or jug or whatever. But we won't even count that into the equation because you probably have some laying around. So I'm going to get into my truck because I need a truck because I'm going to have all these huge jugs of water. My truck gets about 14 miles to the gallon. So by the time I drive up there and back, it's probably going to cost me about $25 in gas. And that's not exaggerating at all. Maybe the water's going to cost $20 or so. So you're talking about $45. And then also, you're going to be gone half the day. So you're probably going to get lunch. But again, that's just me. I mean, look at me. I'm going to have to get something to eat while I'm out. You might not. Maybe you bring a sandwich or something. So we won't count that. But let's also not forget you're going to a pet store. What are the odds of you walking into a pet store and not buying something other than what you're intending to buy? We're all guilty of that. So in the end, you're probably going to end up, if you're in a situation like me, spending somewhere around $50 to go to this pet store and get water. So, when you really look at it, something like that is going to get really old real quick. So think about that when we talk about how much these things cost. Now, while we're talking about how much these cost, I am going to have to refer to my notes. I have Amazon links down below. These are links that are affiliate links for me. If you want to show some support for the channel, if you're interested in getting one of these, if you click on those, we get a little commission. It's teeny tiny, but every single little bit helps. The cheapest prices that I found them, shocker, are Amazon anyway. So everybody wins in this scenario. Like I said, this is available in 3 different system sizes. You got the 3-stage, the 4-stage, and then the 4-stage with the pump on it if your water pressure in your house is too low. If you live in a house that's not 100 years old, you're probably okay and you won't need the big system that has the pump on it. But the 3-stage system, the smallest one that they have, $120.46. Now again, think about how much time you're going to spend and how much money you're going to spend going to get water. It's not that bad when you think about it. My system, which is the 4-stage system, $165.96. Again, link is down below. So this one, if you think about 3 trips up to the pet store, maybe a little bit more. But again, I got to get something to eat while I'm up there. So 3 trips to the pet store and you've made your money back. You know what I'm saying? So it's not outrageous. You hear $165, you're like, oh my God, that's way too much money just for water. well, you got to do it, especially if you're a reefer or if you're keeping really delicate fish. This is something that you're going to have to do unless you're lucky and have a great water supply. You got to do this. It's probably better to have this and have an unlimited supply than to have to go through the hassle and waste half of a day going up to the pet store, even though it's fun to go to the pet store. So the last one that we're going to talk about is the mother load system that they have. It's the biggest one that they have available. It's basically my system, but it has a built-in pump to it to compensate for if your house has too low a water pressure. And with that pump, it also produces more RO water. My system and the smaller one produce 50 gallons of RO water per day, more than I will ever need. The big system produces 100 gallons per day. I mean, if you got a pet store or something like that, maybe that could be something that you would need, but 100 gallons of RO water a day is a lot. Now, maybe you want to get something like that and run your whole house on it. You don't know. But anyway, that one is $294.44. I really do think, unless you're somebody that has a basement full of reef tanks, I think that's going to be a little bit overkill for just about anybody in the hobby. But again, they sound expensive. If you really analyze it, though, and you really think about the money that you're going to spend to get RO water by other means, it's really not that bad. So let's start wrapping this thing up by talking about the things that I like about this system. And the first one is an absolute no-brainer. I don't have to wonder where I'm going to get RO water anymore. I got it right here. It's waiting for me. The trash can right now is full over there, and I've got an unlimited supply. It's not unlimited. I've got 50 gallons per day of RO water. What I've been doing is, of course, maintaining my saltwater tank, but also this one. I've gone ahead and started cycling through RO water into the discus tank. These are Stenker discus. They don't necessarily need it, but I've got it, so might as well use it, right? The fact that I don't have to go to great lengths to get RO water is an absolute beautiful thing, and that is the number one thing that I like about this. The other thing that I like about this is that it is a easy system to maintain. If you need to replace the membrane, if you need to do any maintenance on it, everything just unscrews. It's pretty simple. It's an easy system to maintain, but I did have my struggles with it in the beginning. And that's what we got to talk about now. So the main thing that I'm going to say as far as what I do not like about this was that it was kind of a struggle to get the thing up and running with no leaks or anything like that. But I got to say that it was my fault. So, okay, here is the very short version of the story. The membrane that goes into that top canister of this filter is not installed when you get it. Everything else is, but the membrane is not. It comes in its separate little wrapped container and it's all sealed up. So you have to take that out and install it into that tube on the top. Now, when I did this, I don't have it to show you because I don't want to take this thing apart again. But when I took it apart to put the membrane in, I had a O-ring fall out. And this is an absolutely critical O-ring to keep everything all sealed together. And it fell out and I didn't realize it. And so when I put everything back together again, it was leaking like crazy. Now, it was also leaking from some of the hanging canisters, but that was just because my dumb self didn't make sure they were tight before I got the system up and running. Again, that's not the system's fault. But this O-ring was off and I kept trying to tighten it, and I actually damaged the unit a little bit because I put wrenches on it trying to tighten it. I'm like, why can't I get this thing tight enough? And it just wouldn't work. And then one day I looked down and there it is. I don't know if my cat batted it out from underneath something or what, but there was that O-ring and I was like, there it is. Took it apart, put the O-ring in there. Not a drop has leaked out of it since. Now, this was operator error. This was installer error that caused this, but it was awfully easy for that O-ring to fall off. So I do want to say that it is something that I don't like about this system. You definitely have to pay attention to that. That was really the only thing. I mean, once I got that O-ring in there, it was a no-brainer. But again, it shouldn't be that easy to have the O-ring fall off and not realize it. So there you go. I mean, it was my fault, and what are you going to do? But other than that, this system is very easy. Once you have it up and running, it takes care of itself. It's simple. Now, you do need to replace that membrane every once in a while. Don't really know how long that's going to take, but I have a pretty clean water supply here, so I don't think it's going to be all that bad. I used to have one of these systems in an old house, and the water in that house had so much iron in it that everything in the house was yellow. I had to replace the membrane in that about once every 2 months. But that was extreme. I mean, the water was horrible. We couldn't even drink it, and we didn't even like taking showers in it, but we didn't have a choice. It was a nightmare. If your water is city water, or if you're on a good well or something like that, it's probably not going to be that bad for you. You might have to replace the membrane once a year or something. I don't really know, because mine's brand new. I haven't had to do it yet. You might want to look into that, but even if you do need to replace those membranes, they're not all that expensive. This system is easy to install, as long as you're not an idiot like me. And if you have a water supply and a drain available, like I said before, most people install these into laundry rooms where they have a laundry tub. You can hook the water up either to the sink or into your washing machine water supply. Put a little Y on there like I did on mine. One goes to your RO system, the other goes to your washing machine. It's easy enough to do that, and then you can drain it into the same washing machine drain. Very easy. That's why a lot of people use laundry rooms. My laundry room is on the 3rd floor. There wasn't no way I was going to, you understand what I'm saying? So that wasn't an option for me. If you have a water supply and you have a drain, it's very easy to install. Comes with nice instructions. Some idiots don't pay attention to instructions though. So if you have a need for RO water and you're in a situation like me where you don't have access to it really without driving halfway across the state, this is a kind of system that's going to be perfect for you. I would definitely recommend it to anybody, especially people that are going to be in the saltwater hobby and the reef hobby and all of that. That's one of the things that I was pounded into my head when I first got my tank is you have to have RO water. And a lot of people will tell you that about discus too. So RO water is something that's definitely good to have in the fish keeping hobby. And this makes it very easy to have a very good supply of that water for whenever you might need it. So I want to thank Coralife once again for sending me these to review for you. And I want to thank you for watching. And I want to remind you, every Wednesday night from 9 p.m. till 10:30 p.m. on Facebook in the Tank Talk group, I go live. I do a live stream. We have all kinds of fun in there. If you're not a member of the Tank Talk group yet, you need to get on it. Link will be down in the description. Get on there. Join the group. We have all kinds of fun. You can meet everybody in there. We're about to pass 4,000 members. So that is so exciting. Come on in there. Say hi on Wednesday nights. We have a good time. That's 9 to 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm in the States. My friends overseas, I'm sorry. I can't help you there. Maybe I'll do one some other day, like early in the morning here, so that you can be a part of it too. But anyway, I am totally rambling now. Thanks, Coralife, once again. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to talking to you again next time.